Hey everyone, Micah today with a two-part video here on SnowRunner. In the first part that I'm going to be doing this week, we're going to talk about the game on its own, and in part two, I'm going to be talking about the real-life mod that I've applied. The reason I'm doing a two-part series is, well, twofold. One, the video from this game doesn't compress particularly well, and so it's going to take me over 24 hours to upload each part. And so because of that, I want to try and keep it short. And the second reason is, well, I also go over half an hour per video, so by making a two-parter, I can potentially and probably make this shorter overall. But anyways, as for the game itself, it's not really a whole lot to talk about. It's fundamentally a game where you gotta ship stuff or deliver stuff to wherever it needs to go, right? That's greatly oversimplifying what this game does, but yeah, I don't know. What you're going to be doing, and there's a lot of variety of it, but what you're going to be mostly doing is going off-road, collecting, whether it's, resources that you got to bring somewhere. Occasionally there are resources that are lost that you have to go recover. Maybe you have a car or a truck that also needs recovering. Whatever the mission is, you're basically going to be off-roading a lot. And so if you like games like Euro Truck Simulator, for instance, where you're just trucking, well, this is kind of similar to that with a little bit more challenge to it. And so depending where you sit on that scale, this may or may not interest you quite a bit. Yeah, I think it's a really nice game. There's tons of content. I've put in 100 hours so far doing most of the... I've done the first region, almost finished the second region, and I'm playing in a little bit in the third region to show you guys some different environment here and some missions. But yeah, this game has a lot of content. You're going to be spending a lot of time traversing difficult terrain, potentially having to rescue your own trucks because you're going to flip one at one point or get stuck or whatever. But because at this point I'm 100 hours in, I've got some good trucks, they're well equipped, and so I can traverse this reasonably difficult terrain pretty quickly. That doesn't mean I'm going through it very, very fast, but generally you're not going to be going this quick, as I go a little bit too quick there, but we're okay so far. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. I don't think I have a snorkel on here. But yeah, like I kind of mentioned, these vehicles have upgrades. There's a lot of different vehicles in the game. There's a lot of different classes. They all have kind of their own uses. The mod that I'm running does change a little bit of that. Again, to better reflect how trucks like this work in real life, really. But what you're looking at so far is still basically the base game. There isn't a whole lot of mod stuff kicking in here. But anyways, kind of show off how the game is structured. So the base game has 3 major areas with 4 maps each. The white lines represent kind of how you can get from one area to another. So if you look at Michigan, there's a garage here and a garage on Smithville Dam and a garage on Black River. But the other 2 maps don't have garages, so you're gonna often leave from one of these maps and kind of make your way across. Now the game has, well, we'll look at the maps, right? You can see, this is kind of a rural area. There's a little bit of pavement and a nice paved route kind of going throughout the map. There's a lot of dirt roads. There's some muddy sections in here as well, but it's generally a pretty easy map to start on. And as you kind of progress through the game, there's like this dam area, which has a lot of varying heights and stuff like that. So they crank up the difficulty a little bit in that sense. There's a lot more, undulations in the terrain. If you have to get to Drummond Island to do some of the bigger missions, well, you've got a whole mountain pass to go through, or you can take some of the shortcuts here. I know, there's one shortcut and there's another one, which saves you quite a big loop, but it is a risky thing. I've definitely flipped the truck over and gotten stuck in those areas, so that's the kind of stuff that happens in this game. Of course, I'll show off the two other maps because you got this marshland, so a lot of mud and not exactly the easiest to go into, and then finally this island map, which is a combination of everything. It's not a very big map, but it's got some tough stuff. So Alaska, I've almost completed Alaska. It's all snow, as you can imagine. And yeah, there's a lot of missions, there's a lot of stuff going on. I've got a couple contracts here to finish up. But it is what it is. And then this is the Russian map that I've started on, and then I'll have other areas unlocked. So that's 12 maps in total in 3 regions. The first season of DLC has 4 regions, with the final one having 4 maps. So you actually wind up with 10 maps, and as far as I know, there's kind of the same amount of content in those maps. And so yeah, this game, it's got long legs if you want to spend a lot of time playing in here. Each map has a list of tasks that are usually just associated to that map in particular, and then you have the contracts, which are larger scale and don't necessarily get you to travel from one map to another within a region, but you often find yourself doing that. But yeah, I'd say the game is generally not super difficult if you take your time. If you try and hurry up, that's usually where mistakes start happening, and that's how you get your vehicle stuck. There are certain scenarios where you just don't have a good enough vehicle, and so that's why you got to do some of the missions and pick up some of the various, get some money from doing those missions, get some experience. Occasionally you can get vehicles off of certain missions, which is great. Other missions may offer you most missions give you money. Sometimes you can get other stuff like upgrades or other vehicles, and so that makes quite a difference. And that can help you out quite a bit too, because you can get really powerful vehicles, which kind of change the game a little bit. Alright, so we gotta bring this down to the sawmill. Well, that seems pretty straightforward. So we'll just pull our way out of here. I'll take advantage of the different winch points. We'll just kind of pull this trailer back a little bit. Let me re-winch that to there. I want to try and spin it around a little bit to get that hitch out. Now this is made for a scout vehicle. Is it a requirement? Ah, shoot. Yeah, I was gonna say this is a very small trailer, so I might not even be able to hitch it up to this truck. And I'm not talking about the gooseneck hitch at the back. I'm talking about just the rear of the trailer, or the rear of the truck rather. Usually, most of these trucks have a hitch you can use. It's usually not a ball hitch. We'll try it, but I don't think it'll work, unfortunately. It's gonna, yeah, no suitable trailer. So I can definitely pull it, but I won't be able to get the mission done. So what I'll do is I'll drag it, but then I'll probably have to get another vehicle to actually hitch it on and finish the mission. But yeah, that's the basics of the game, really. There's a lot of other stuff to talk about and kind of show off, but you know, I've hinted to them already. There's vehicle upgrades, there's tons of different vehicles which I've not looked into. And I would say check out next week's video where I'm going to talk about the mod and go into a little bit more depth for that stuff. But for now I want to keep this around 10 minutes long. And so I'm going to end this here and we'll continue on from this point next week. So see you guys then.